I made a video in September, but then it couldn't be accepted onto YouTube because it was too real. So now I'm gonna try again. And hopefully the waterfall was not off-putting to the YouTube people. Hi. Okay, so this is what I want to talk about. I'll put you here. This is what I want to talk about. So this is the story. Is it a story? I may or may not put this on the internet, but I think I would have appreciated it when I was younger. So yes, yeah, so anyway, this is kind of how I got over having binge eating disorder. Yeah, so that was awful, and that happened. And here is why it happened. So first off is to know that I started off as having anorexia. I had anorexia for like I had like both at the same time, but I probably had like just anorexia for like a year and a half, and then I had binge eating disorder for much longer after that. And binge eating disorder is worse, and it is worse because there is no help for it. So when you have anorexia, people are like, oh, poor thing. And they think, oh, well, we'll just give you to the GPs, and there's systems in place to like be like a safety net. And my phone went out of storage. It might do that again. Who wants to send me a new phone? But yeah, anyway, so there's a lot of safety things, systems in place for like people with anorexia. So I was like, my brother had it before me, and we had it at the same time at one point. I thought it was a bit like my household. It was like, so just think of my parents. Like, it was awful. Just feel sorry for them. Yeah. So my parents kind of like knew the drill, I guess. I was like seeing a GP, and then the GP was like, like, it's not going good, whatever. Anyway, and then I had like an appointment with PCH, like the kids hospital, to like get me diagnosed or something, so that because you can't fucking get anything without a fucking diagnosis. So first of all, you have to be privileged enough to get a fucking diagnosis. That's like step one. And then step two, so I went in there for like a questionnaire, how do you think about yourself kind of thing, like tick tick tick. And they were like, oh, we think you might have anorexia. And I was like, well, like, I know. And then I had like a medical observation thing, and they were like, oh, you might go into cardiac arrest. So yeah, so then I went into hospital, and then I went into outpatient after I was like in and out of that for a little bit. Yeah, so I was in outpatient, and that's basically where you like go to school and you have people there that like help you out with like mealtime stuff and just try and like keep you on track with that, which like isn't a very good meal plan. First of all, just because the health system is a bit biased and fucked, and the Heart Foundation likes making a lot of money off people that give themselves diabetes. But just like thinking that Special K is really good for them and things. But anyway, that's a completely different thing, I think. So yeah, so I was like going to outpatient, and then, you know, like being in that sort of treatment is like every single day, every second of every day, you like have to do the thing that you like literally, oh my god, you would literally rather like disappear forever than do those things. So it's like extremely hard. Like if going to the hospital was like trauma informed, then it would be treated the same way as like an addiction or a phobia kind of thing, like an OCD kind of, it's a compulsion, or like you're literally so afraid of it kind of thing. Like you wouldn't punish someone who's terrified of spiders with more spiders. Like, oh, you don't want to touch this one. You can go into the room full of them then. Like that's kind of how they treat you in inpatient. You didn't finish that last thing. You're gonna have to get tube fed then. Sorry. They don't think it's your own choice. They're like, why are you being such a hassle? Why are you being so annoying? You're gonna go and bowl. Like just nasty. Short little spiel on why tube feeding should not be a threat, and that's because a lot of the people that are in that place are there because they've been in situations where they've had things like forced upon them that they didn't have any control over and they didn't want, just like being tube fed. So it's not very trauma informed, and it's very, very scary for the people that have to experience that. So that is why. But then when you have binge eating disorder, for kids at least, there's nothing. And especially coming from, I had anorexia, going into that, when I said I'm like overeating to the point of like I feel like I'm gonna throw up, I'm getting hot flushes, this is happening like all day, every single day. The moment that I stop feeling nauseous, I'm like back at it again with like anything. It could be anything. I will eat anything. It doesn't matter if it's not cooked. It doesn't matter if it's frozen. It doesn't matter if it's expired. I was eating shit at the bin. Okay. So really hectic, really, 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 really not nice. And I went there and I was like, this is happening. And they were like, oh, well, you know, you can come and hang out with all the Rexies again. I was like, following a meal plan is not going to help me right now. Like being forced to eat food that I don't want to eat is not going to help me with binge eating recovery right now. And to like get a grasp of just like how awful this was, like I went from like, I gained like 25 kilos in like 4 months. So I was in a lot of pain also, and like severely uncomfortable. Which is a lot of the time why people develop binge eating disorder in the first place, is they're uncomfortable in their bodies. And I think a lot of the people have experienced like overeating to the point of like you are like distracted, or you feel kind of like high almost. Like you get dopamine from eating anyway, and then yeah, once you overeat, you like to like that much, you can't form any thoughts, you can't think about anything, you can't move, you can't breathe properly. Like you're sedated. It's a way of sedating yourself. It's a way of not feeling anything. So I think if there were systems in place that helped people with binge eating disorder, especially kids that can't just go to like my parent works at Women's Health Family Support stuff, so you know there are programs that you can go to like sort of help yourself when you're an adult. But when you're a kid, there's nothing. And when you're a kid and you don't know what's happening, there's nothing. And when you're a kid that's already in a system that is not going to help you find any new ways of like helping yourself out. There's like nothing. So really what helped me the most was just distracting myself. So I would like leave my house at like 7 in the morning and get back at 7 at night and just like be out all day. Like go into the city and like discover, like walk around and discover new places, and like pack a lunch so that I know that like I will be able to have something that I'm going to enjoy and that will sustain me and like all those things, and like I'm responsible for there's only like one thing to think about. I have that, I have only that, and that's all I need to do. That's all I need to think about. I don't need to, because the best thing that helped me get through all of that is just realizing that food it literally just doesn't even matter. It actually just doesn't matter. And the less attention you give to it, the better. And you should more so just think about how your body feels and put things into your body based on that, rather than like what other people are telling you. Like people that like live off the land. If you live in, I really don't know what I'm talking about because I live in a middle class house in Australia. So like I'm white in Australia, so that gives you everything that you need to know about like what I know about living off the land. I'm like a convict. I'm from this land, so yeah, anyway, so people eat off the land, people eat seasonally, and that makes sense, and it makes sense for that climate and that people's body type and like what they're doing in their lives and like everything. So you really cannot go off like, this is the food pyramid, eat 11 to 7 slices of bread a day. Like it just, like, that doesn't make sense. It actually just doesn't make sense. I'm not saying that bread's bad. I've definitely eaten loaves of bread per day, but it depends on where you're at, you know. Anyway, ramble. Sometimes, you know, stuff changes up. Anyway, that's really what helped me the most, is just distracting myself. And realizing that food doesn't matter that much, which is near impossible to believe in the moment, I think. Yeah, it's really, really, really hard. The best thing that I think that anyone can do is distract themselves and, look, honestly, find a different way of numbing. I smoke weed every day now, so, you know, sometimes you can't just get rid of like your coping thing, because otherwise you're not going to be able to cope. You're literally just gonna like die. I don't know what's gonna, you know, you need to like fill the void with something better. Weed is better than having an eating disorder. 1000%. 1000%. Coming from a lived experience patient, what more can I say? So yeah, fill the void with something that... Okay, so I just had to delete 300 pictures off my phone. So if someone could like come in with that new phone, that'd be awesome. I'm so stoked for it, really craving it. And what was I saying? Oh yeah, coping. So yeah, distract yourself. For me, it was getting out of the house and like being around people, because I couldn't trust myself around myself. So be it like community, have some connection, because like when I was alone by myself in the house all day, I was just binging like all day. Like from the moment I gain consciousness, when I wake up, I start thinking about it up until like I put myself in a fucking coma to go to sleep. So spend time with people, engage in community, distract yourself, get out of the house. Don't think about food as much as you can. Don't base things around it. Don't base days around it unless it's like a community thing. Like, I'm so excited to have family dinner. I'm so excited to like go out with my friends to get a coffee. Like, stuff like that. Don't be scared of it. Enjoy it. And know that it's supposed to be enjoyed. Like, eating and hating it isn't normal. So yeah, those are my coping things. And for me personally, smoking weed. Personally, another good like numbing out stuff. Sleeping. I don't know if that works for a lot of people. My phone storage keeps filling. So that new phone would be so good. Yeah, sleeping. Don't be an alcoholic. Don't do Xanax. Don't take Dexies to fill the void. Meditate. A lot of be like that person, but like meditating actually is very helpful. It's similar to sleeping. But that's like if you can handle it. I definitely couldn't just feel the feelings, even though feeling the feelings is literally the fastest, bestest, most reliable, best, just like it's literally the best way to get through anything ever. And it 100% works every single time without fail. It's just literally the hardest thing to do ever. So that's why human beings have all these coping strategies to take the long way around to things, because sometimes we're not ready to feel the feelings. Sometimes that's traumatic. But yeah, I feel like my phone is just gonna die again, but sorry, there's a lot of loose ends, and I hope that helped for maybe someone. Just distract yourself. You will eventually stop caring about it and find connection and security in the support of like other people and routine. And maybe just have a cone and chill, you know? Thanks for watching. I hope it helped.